What is going on, brothers and sisters? Welcome back to Icarus. We're going to be doing deep vein extraction today, but I wanted to quickly look into the workshop to talk about what my next steps will be. Now, I'm thinking of three things, well, two things that I want to get next. The first is the canteen. Love the canteen. It doesn't leak. You know, as you get older, you leak, but this thing, it's perfect. It doesn't leak. So I want to get this. I'm going to need to get the fire whacker for 75, so I'll just grab it. I'll hold off for a second. We'll need the fire whacker for 75, then this for 200, and then the craft it for 50 for a total of 325 Ren. Then what I want to do is I want to research the repair kit and then the Shinatai dropship recall beacon, because once thrown at the landing area is determined to be valid, we'll call your dropship to my current location. And that'll just be nice for missions where I just don't want to run back to the dropship. So, and then they only cost 25 Ren to craft afterwards, so super cheap. And going into the last thing we need some ammo. So I'm thinking of grabbing, I'm at 249 and it cost me 250 for these arrows. It breaks my little heart. 5% break chance. I was gonna grab some of these, but it looks like that's off the docket today. However, and these ones are 500, so we'll be holding off on those. I was going to grab some arrows. What are they, 66 to 70? We'll see how they compare, but let's get our mission started. We're going right into deep vein extraction so we can unlock these. Also going to turn up the difficulty so we can get 225 Ren. Claim that prospect. Oh, hold on, let me hit back real quick. So objectives: locate the deposit, mine the ore, send it to orbit, and launch the dropship. Okay. So we need to repair. Just gonna repair everything. Except the bow. The bow's probably fine, honestly, for now. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. Alright, let's confirm that loadout. Less the reward off the total. Yeah. Private game, because we're solos, baby.
Supposed to be an exotics vein thereabouts. But it won't be there long, so I'd get a move on if I were you.
Won't be there long.
Come back empty-handed.
Alright, so it's in the same spot as it was before. I remember before it was actually technically faster to go south and through there, so I'm gonna do that. I remember back in the day, this was actually one of the best exotic farms because we're gonna make sure we grab sticks and stuff on the way. And the reason for that was because at the time there were no ways to just get exotics easily, I should say. Because before you would have to always have these missions complete for one, go into the tech tree, go into tier 3, I believe it is. And where is it in here? These are so much more different now, which is awesome. Portable beacons there. It's not in tier 4, is it? Maybe it's in tier 4. Here it is. It's in tier 3. I was like, tier 4 had the electric ones. We've got the radar, which will help you find the deposit nodes to then put the extractor on. But obviously to get the tier 3, you had to be level 20, and you had to spend some time. You know, it was a little bit of a grind. And then you would do that to gain about 100 or so exotics, I think is what you would get out of it. At the time, there was only usually one exotics node you could farm. And even if there was two, the maps were a little big, so it'd still take pretty long to do it. And I don't remember the averages anymore. I bet if Bucky watches this, he could tell us like how much you used to. I'm going north, by the way. I want to go south. And he could tell us like how much you used to get from that. Or you could do it kind of the way I would, which would be running this mission on repeat and grabbing all the exotic nodes, because there's actually multiple that spawn. And we're going to see if they still spawn to this day now. And then after you grabbed them all, you would use a bug that would allow you to, well, it was technically a bug, but not really, because it was part of the game mechanic. Because there were certain spots out in the tundra where it wouldn't recognize where you were. And if you tried to unstick yourself, it would teleport you back to the pod instead. So you would go to those places, unstick yourself to the pod, and then you would leave immediately. And then you would get your exotics out really fast. It was a nice little gig. But obviously, you know, that changed a bit once they started putting 2 nodes on every map. They made them a little easier to get to, a little bit more accessible, as well as, let me grab some arrows. That's a lot of arrows. I don't need that many. We'll go with 50. Am I going south? Okay. And then eventually they brought in and this came after I had stopped playing and most of us had stopped playing, was the exotic extractor within the workshop. So you could get like, you could bring it down with you along with like the biofuel to run it or whatever. So you could easily just like go down, harvest them up, and then just leave. So those must have been the glory days of trying to get exotics, because that sounds super easy. I'm wondering if it's still the same or if there are other better means to it now. So we're going to really find that out. But in this part of the mission, what this unlocks is the exotic ore nodes that randomly spawn in caves. And there are, at least they used to just be a random % chance, pretty small percentage. I know with every time I played this mission, I used to just play this for my exotics, and I would check a couple caves on my running path just to see if exotics spawned in there. And I mean, I think there's like up to a chance of like 2 nodes to spawn in a cave, and more often than not there's never nodes in there. Is that that looked really weird for a second. I thought there was a texture glitch going on, but we're good. Now, I do want to actually craft some clothes. I don't have armor on, like from the workshop, so I'm going to be hurting in the cold. Probably need much more fibers. Yeah. Just going to keep on grabbing. I don't really care about killing, except for a dangerous creature like a wolf, because I'm not planning to sleep or anything. If this mission hasn't changed too much, it should be a very, very fast mission. Normally this worked great when you had workshop armor, for that simple reason of... Ooh, actually speaking, I should have grabbed water back there. It's fine. Even if we... Actually, berries will work. I'll make sure to just grab berries along the way. Fill myself back up. Yeah, the workshop armor would keep you nice and warm during this. Is my mouse dying? Feels like it got like sputtery there. Need to go up here, I believe. Yeah. Let's go back to crafting real quick. I wish you could keep moving while the menu is open if you had auto run on. It doesn't, so it like, for me it almost defeats the purpose, because I could put toggle sprint on, but I wasn't liking it when I was fighting bears, honestly, so I turned it off. But, you know, with auto run with toggle sprint is really nice if you're just trying to get far. But I would like to see it work when I open the map too, so I could, you know, still keep moving forward while checking out where I am or doing something in the inventory. Gonna need some O2 as well, so make sure we'll just break a rock or 2 along the way. Now there is a bear, or at least there used to be a bear that would hang around here quite often. And I shouldn't say a bear, it was a polar bear. So you always had to be careful when you first came up this track, because that polar bear could just be hanging out waiting to kill you. And these bushes can do a pretty decent job of concealing the polar bear. Just kind of sneaks up on you. Yeah, I'm immediately cold. There's one right there. Yep, definitely cold. I kind of figured this would be the case. I can make a campfire. I'm gonna craft one just so I have it ready. Might go cut those trees down, or like one tree real fast just to have some wood. So if I do need to warm myself up, I can do that, so I can get rid of hypothermia if I grab it. But you can see here, we do have a good level of cold on us. Definitely a little colder than when we were utilizing leather armor. So I do want to be mindful. I don't want that guy to sneak up on me while I do this either. Gonna eat these. That'll give me some water. I'm going to just consume this stack, throw the rest in there, and then grab some wood for the road. Beautiful. That's plenty. Gonna carry on with ourselves. I'm gonna eat a berry. I just want those buffs. Get my bow out just in case. So now I need to just get all the way over here. It's funny. Oh my god, look at that weather forecast. There's a red storm in there. We gotta go. It's funny because it's quite controversial to take the southern route, I feel. I know back in the day it was like, oh, is north or south faster? And I always found south to be faster. Like I said, I used to run this all the time. Have like anime playing on the side or some shit and just be mindlessly going through here. There was less dangers on this route. The other route, you have more bears. There's like 2 different bear spawns, maybe even 3 you had to kind of watch out for. And then obviously polar bears once you get in there. Now, what I'm curious of, what we saw in the last episode is, I learned that there is tundra scorpions or blizzard scorpions, whatever you want to call them. I don't know why they're here. It scares the shit out of me that there's scorpions in the tundra. It makes no sense to me because they're scorpions. However, it's terrifying. So I'm curious to see if they're going to be in here kind of... Oh, yeah. There's one right there. There he is. And they have a fuck ton of health. Just like the polar bears. So there's a scorpion. They like to lay down like that and hide. So they can be hard to see. There is a perk in the hunting class talents. This one. Nearby small animals will be highlighted when aiming. Sense medium animals and sense megafauna. So when you're aiming... Jesus Christ. I didn't even see that. When I'm aiming like this, I can see like the highlight of the polar bear, of that mammoth, of those scorpions in the ground up to a certain distance. And it's very helpful in the forest if you think something's nearby. Ow. Okay. I just really didn't want to go near that. Oh god, don't break my ankles. I did not want to go near those polar bears. A lot harder without nice exotic armor to keep us warm. Yeah, once you get, I mean, I don't think polar bears are very hard. They'll catch you off guard if you get stuck in a storm, if you're over encumbered, like you've seen me die to bears before because I'm over encumbered and I can't do the shabby sidestep. It's just a good time. But polar bears, honestly, bears are pretty easy to kill as long as you're paying attention and you can kind of manage that sidestep, or if you keep poles on you to put in the ground so you can stand above them and shoot down at them. Also pretty viable. We've done that in a few missions. I like to get 2 down just in case something happens. Worried to death of these freaking scorpions. Definitely think my mouse is dying. I feel the jitters. All right, I'm outside the cave. A storm is starting, so I'm probably going to take our exit out of the north side just to get out of this tundra. But one thing to be careful of is there was a polar bear spawn here previously. I'm going to just roam this way to roam like, there he is right there. Actually, he spawned behind me, it seems. But he roams up to here, so he's a dangerous little boy. So be careful. Be careful.
It's around here somewhere.
Yeah, it's in here, boss. That's how ores work. They spawn in the cave, except afterwards. As long as they haven't changed the mission since the game launched, there'll be others that have spawned in the world too. After you farm the one that's in here, a few more spawn. It's like it's all this way. So I may hunker down in this cave until this storm passes, so we can go get those, now that I'm thinking about it. Can't wait for a better pickaxe, so I don't have such a hard time here. Ah. Goodbye, friend. So this is an exotics node, right here. Sometimes another one can spawn in the back. But it looks like we weren't lucky today. We didn't get a dual spawn. I don't know if the... Actually, thinking about it, the dual spawn probably can't spawn until you do this for the first time. Just gonna back up for a second. Do I get cave lung here? I do. I was trying to think of a good spot for us to sit in for a little while. The downside is here. 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 Right here will be a good spot for us to hunker down a bit. Let me just grab this. Right there. Cool. That'll be the play. Let this storm pass. All these exotics will be ours. I also, you'll notice I have a torch in my pocket. Optional search area for further exotics.
They'll want a little more than that, though.
All right, cool. Yeah, like each node, it looks like I got 29. I feel like that was a bit more than I normally got, even with at the time, the max pickaxe with the highest harvest. So it looks like maybe exotic nodes got a slight buff just based off of my memory. Could be wrong, though. Could be wrong. So I'm going to wait right here by the entrance because you can see if I'm standing here, I get the debuff where I'm underground. And if you stay underground too long, you will eventually get the debuff for, excuse you. I'm that cold here? Is it because I'm too close to the entrance to start making that disappear? Don't light myself on fire there. Will this work for me? Hypothermia is set in. Trying to make that modifier disappear. My health is dropping rapidly though, actually. I ended up just not wanting to wait for the storm, so I just went back to the character select and then left. Need to get around to this polar bear, so I'm just gonna kind of... Oh my god, the storm is here. It's almost over. It's okay. Ooh, ooh, don't break my ankles. This is fine. I'm not hypothermic, so we're gonna run out here and hopefully still survive. As long as I don't get hypothermia again, we'll be good. I'm just trying to remember where all the spawns were. I believe there's 3 more exotic nodes that we can get. So the first one should be right here on the map in this giant crevice. If we come down here, there should be one here. Yes, it's still here. Very nice. Grab ourselves these exotics. We had 29 before, I believe. So let's see how many we get here. I remember the controversy in the beginning that it was sometimes better to use a lower tier pickaxe because it broke less of the node at a time, that you actually got more exotics out of it than using the higher tier pickaxe because it broke more of the node even though it had a higher gathering rate. There's something over there that sees me, so I'm gonna go up this way. I don't know what it is. I don't want to find out either. Everything here is dangerous except for like mammoths, although still incredibly dangerous. Oh yeah, look, there he is. There's that polar boy. Although still incredibly dangerous, just not aggressive unless you attack them first. So I think that should be a node there too. I believe this was the little cliff here you have to climb up to grab the second one. Let ourselves gain some stamina back. Always remember, don't let your stamina run out all the way. It takes longer to respawn or refresh that stamina than if you let it get as low as possible and then let it refresh. So here's the other exotics node. It's just up here on the cliff right there. This is still quite lucrative. So probably, you know, early game before you get the extractor unlocked in tier 3. Running this a few times, probably not the worst idea. But we'll definitely look into some other ways to farm exotics too. Low level, high level. We just got to get our character made again, you know? So the last one should be around... Actually, I don't... Was it up here? No. I think it's around this corner. I remember it's in like a little ice dome because it was the best one to go back to. back to? Maybe it's up here, actually. Actually, I think it's up there. I think it's in that corner here. If it's not, I'll probably call it there anyways. Oop, there's my polar bear friend. Hi, friend. It's okay. Something that could obviously have helped us too is gathering some meat before you come in here, because then if you do get that hypothermia debuff and you're taking a bit of damage, the damage you take from that is so minimal. Same with like if you get dehydrated and you're completely taking damage from that. The damage is quite minimal, so you don't need a lot of heals on you. Your passive health regen and then a couple pieces of cooked meat will do you really good. Yeah, it's still over here. Glad I turned around because I thought it was around the corner, but it was actually back here. I'll show you the old way too. But before, you would just like right in here, you could just unstuck. Get rid of some of that wood. We obviously don't need all that wood. There we go. 115. That is, I feel like that's more than we used to get. That feels like a lot. It's like before you would just get like right around here was a dead zone where you would go here, you would hit unstuck, and then it would be like, oh, no unstuck location found. Do you want to go to the pod? And then you'd be like, yeah, I want to go to the pod. And then it'd send you back to the pod, and then you'd leave the mission. It'd be game over. But now, like even still without that little exploit, I'll call it an exploit, because obviously it was in the game intended so that way if you found a weird spot, you could still unstick yourself and not be perma-locked in a weird space. Because there are caves you can jump into that don't have a way up, right? And you need to be able to unstuck. So like if you were ever in those situations and an unstuck location just didn't exist, you needed to be able to teleport back to the pod. So it's a very early game thing. They fixed it rather quickly. Well, I say that, but it took them a few months, I want to say. We used that little trick for a while to just farm our exotics, because I refused to do mining because it was so bad and it just took so long. And you got less from one of those nodes. You got less than what we just got now. Now, I'm sure that if these have been buffed, I feel like the regular mining's been buffed, so I'm pretty excited to see how that goes. So we're going to head on out of here, head ourselves to the drop pod. Like I'm always telling you, brothers and sisters, if you found this exciting and fun, make sure you're hitting that like button down below. It really helps out, makes me feel motivated. Make sure we keep doing a Zero to Heroes series, trying 100% Icarus. We will be starting soon on, we'll be jumping in between missions. We'll do Olympus missions, we'll do Styx missions, we'll also be doing some Prometheus missions. Obviously, I need to level up a little bit before the Prometheus missions, and I also want to get the extractors unlocked in Payday before we head to Icarus or to Styx and Prometheus, just in case we do want to utilize that aspect. Because when you're doing some tier 3 missions, you have all the materials available. It's like I might as well go set these up, grab some free exotics, and then get the hell out of here, because everything's already readily available. So we're gonna make sure that's there for us. So we'll check that out, but in making sure, if you want to keep along on that ride, go hit that subscribe button as well. Leave me comments letting me know how your games are going, how you're enjoying Prometheus or not enjoying. Let me know. So I ran into a little conundrum here. So point proven here. So they did change this mission a little bit, which I think is pretty neat. I need to build something called a orbital exchange interface, and I think I remember reading about this update a long while ago, and it pertained to now you send your exotics out via like a care package, essentially. What am I missing here? Hold on, I need to build a bed. There it is. So now you don't just like bring them on the ship with you, you send them out. So that's what I need to build. So it's also nighttime, so I also need to sleep. So I got a bed. I realized as I got to like this lake here what that said, and let me just come to the entrance here so I don't get cave lung. If I go into the tech tree here, right in tier 2, I need to get a short range radio, and then I can get this orbital exchange interface. Allows you to order a delivery pod for exotic retrieval. So I'm not sure why you can't just bring them on your ship. It was probably to deter you from what I was talking about before of just being able to mine all these exotics quickly without having to do a second step. So I think that's awesome, honestly. I think that's a great little addition there. I'm going to increase that. Yield from butchering and creature bones. Love it. So with that in mind, we're going to go live in this cave. So I got to clear it out for a second. Got a double arrow shot there. Hello, any other cave worms? Hello. It is I, ShabbyDoo. Nope, no cave worms. No exotic nodes either. Imagine if there was an exotic node just chilling in here. How sick would that be? So, a couple things. Let's deploy the campfire. I always put the campfire down first because it's usually easier to find a place for the bed than it is the campfire. So, I'm going to plop you right there. Kind of worked. And then the bed, see, like, bed just goes there. I'm going to throw in some of this, activate that, sleep in the bed, and we're good. So, we do have a few things to do. Get out of the bed. First of all, is step number 1. Step number 2 is I need to leave some shit in here on the ground because I need to make a workbench. So, I need 50 wood real quick. So, I'm going to make a chest, I think. Yeah, once I go get some more wood, I'm going to make a chest. So that way I can put those exotics in there so they're just not holding up my inventory space while I work on these next steps. So here are the steps. We need to get some wood. We need to make a workbench. We need to get some stone. We need to make a furnace. Then we just need to go mine some iron, smelt said iron, and some copper, and then we'll be good to go. It's honestly not going to be that much longer, so it'll be pretty simple. So let's speed it up a smidge, shall we? All right. Allow you to order a delivery pod for exotic retrieval. Request a pod. Request equipment. Neat. Request. Backing up. I'm backing up. I don't trust this. Oh, that was cool. That was sick, actually. If this is how you have to get every exotic out, that's pretty cool. It's really cheap to do this, so... Okay. Throw these in, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 15. Deliver. Backing up, backing up, backing up, backing up, backing up. We're done. That was really cool.
If you're looking to earn the assembly's trust,
Ooh.
you're doing it. And that's
That was neato. Sick. So normally when it comes to doing missions and like in games in general and things get more complicated just for the sake of being complicated or to make things longer to make it seem like there's more content to do, I don't feel that's the case here. I think this mission absolutely needed something like that because it was too quick otherwise. And I think the best part about it, it's only 7 iron, it's 7 copper. You saw how long it took me to do that. Although it was sped up, you can see by the in-game time, it hasn't been that long. And that was a very painless thing to have to do. And I thought it added a nice little level to the game. Exotic extraction. So, yeah. In your drop ship or inventory will be delivered back to the station. Exotic extraction is now completed through the orbital exchange interface. So that also means you can bring more exotics home than you could previously. So that's great. Mission is complete. Hope all of you brothers and sisters found this fun, helpful, and exciting. Make sure you hit that like button down below. Double check to make sure you're subscribed as well. And let's go check out our rewards before we kick off for this episode. So we did hit level 20 there, which is really nice. And we are up to 444 red and 265 exotics. So if I do need a little bit more exotics, I might do that before we do our payday extraction. But we will see. So until next time, brothers and sisters, I hope the rest of your day is not too shabby.